Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast. It's been a while. We're in association with Lucky Star Gin. If you are a regular listener, thank you very, very much. And I'm sorry for the gap. I will explain in a moment. If you're a new listener, you're very, very welcome. I'm your host, Mike, and with me today we have Gabriel and Neil, who are going to run us through a ridiculous number of games to catch us up to the present day. We love hearing from you. We love you joining the conversation. Stay connected. Give us a thumbs up, likes, give us your thoughts, comments, retweets, or whatever it's called on each of the episodes. Chat with other fans. We're on all social medias at Sutton Podcast. All those things do help the algorithm put us in front of other eyes, and it makes us get more listeners. And to those who do it already, thank you very, very much. So, Gabriel, how are you? We can see your face this time.
Yeah. Maybe I put on some kilograms since last time, so it's better not to see me.
But how have you been?
Good. I've been to last game before yesterday. I've been to the Morecambe game, which is a very bad memory. I even had some friends coming over from Romania directly from the airport to see that game, and yeah,
So we're
it was
we'll blame them. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Well, it's their fault.
I totally blame them. Yeah, that's
And Neil, we caught up very quickly yesterday, but how have you been?
I've been fine, thank you, Mike. Trying to find distractions from football because I need something to keep me sane.
Well, let's be honest. I think it's a good thing that I haven't done each week so far because I'm able to look at the whole period as a general, and instead of having those ridiculous up and down roller coaster emotions. But very, very quickly, there is a brilliant event tomorrow at Sutton United in the evening. Sorry, Neil, I don't think it's going to be streamed, but Mickey Joyce and Mickey Stevens are going to be telling some stories from the olden days. And there's a rumour that Joycey might even mention his 9 goals in one match. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we'll ever get to hear this story, but it might come up. Who knows? But yeah, if you're going along, or if you haven't booked a ticket yet, I think it's £5 off the top of my head, and it's tomorrow evening, Monday evening. So it should be actually brilliant to have such legends talking about their time at the club. There was a little bit of a break from, I think the Hartlepool game was the last time I actually covered one. There was a lot of work issues, and I lost my dog, and I really didn't care about anything. So it was basically, I'm not doing that. But there are quite a few to buzz through. Gabriel has already mentioned the Morecambe game. I said to Rory and Sarah, and I think Rory agreed with me, that we beat Hartlepool, and wouldn't it be very Sutton to go and lose to Morecambe? And we didn't just lose. Gabriel, briefly sum up that game for us.
Well, it was terrible. I was on the gate, and by the time I was trying to get back to I finished my duty on the gate, and I was trying to get to watch the game. They already scored, and within 5 minutes they scored again, and then they scored again, and so on. Yeah, it was really, really bad. Yeah,
and they just didn't hit stop. I was working, and it was like, I could make the second half. And I looked at my phone, and it's like, that's not even half an hour. How are we 4-0 down and a man sent off? But Neil, were you at the game, or did you get to watch it afterwards, or what was your view of that?
Sadly, I was at the game. Yes, I was standing next to to Jenny, and it was like they say when you're about to die, your whole life flashes before you. I that was a bit like my entire football life flashing before me. It seemed to be all of the bad Sutton moments distilled into 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like living a nightmare.
Oh, I think it extended out to the 29 minutes because I think that's when Junior got himself sent off for something he admits should never have happened. Okay, so we had a high of Hartlepool, then we had a big low of Morecambe, then we had a high away to Scunthorpe. Another big result, Neil. Did you watch that one on DAZN?
Yeah, that one I watched on DAZN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so went into that with very low expectations. The pitch was not great, and but they really bounced back. They really, really, really pulled it all together, and I felt as more up than I'd felt down after the Morecambe match. It was such a pickup.
Gabriel, how were you feeling at the Scunthorpe game where we won 2-1?
Not very positive, because in the talks after the Morecambe game, it was brought up the issue of the fatigue of the players, and that we had so many games and so many games far away from one another. So if we lost on Saturday because we were tired, you would expect that we're still tired also on Tuesday.
Yep.
So no reason for optimism for me.
Well, how did you feel after that game when we won that 2-1?
It was great. I'm following because when we lost to Morecambe, we brought them back apparently into the fight, into contention to escape relegation and to draw us instead of them. And also Gateshead was in form. Yes. And so I was following not only our result but also the others. And
that was another big result for us. And you mentioned Gateshead. Now, obviously, it's difficult to think back with just the eyes we had at the time, but there were quite a few people after the draw with Gateshead who were sounding quite disappointed. But with the results since, I think they've won 3 out of 4, and they beat
definitely.
York 3-1.
Yeah.
So with the results since, the point there doesn't look anywhere near as bad as perhaps people were making out at the time. But how were you feeling after the Gateshead match when we drew that 1-1?
It was a good result, especially that we obtained it in the last few minutes. They were up 1-0 for almost all the game. So that would have been a really bad result. We didn't know at the time that Braintree is going down so badly and losing all their games. So Gateshead looked to be able to put us beyond them. Mm-hmm. So it was crucial that we got that equalizer.
Absolutely. And Neil, another away game, but we got to watch that one on DAZN again. What did you feel at the time? Were you disappointed with the draw? And obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, you now changed your mind a little bit.
I'm glad we got something out of it. As I'd forgotten, as Gabriel said, that was 84 minutes. So we'd sneaked the Scunthorpe one after 95 against the run of play. And if I'm being really honest, I didn't think we played anywhere near as well at Gateshead as we did at Scunthorpe, and we didn't look as if we were going to get anything out of the game, and possibly could say that we didn't really deserve to get anything out of the game, but we did. That was a super shot from Eze for his debut goal for us. So and then everybody's quite rightly said, putting it into the context of Gateshead, who are now only 3 points behind us in the table and look as if they're going to escape, it was a far better result than we thought at the time.
Yep, absolutely.
Just 1 second, because ever since I watched the highlights of the Gateshead game, I want to say this. Their stadium looks so Eastern Europe. Like it could be anywhere in Romania, that stadium.
I think it feels like it as well with the weather up there as well.
Oh.
They got the track around, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not,
Isn't Romania closer?
No,
yeah.
no. Still
Let's-
3 hours flight away.
wasn't that much different to go up there. But then we followed up those 2 positive away games with a nice, easy game against a team struggling at the bottom of the table. I mean, rock bottom of the table. Neil Truro. Were you at the game? I don't remember seeing you. But
No, I was. A dear friend of ours lost her husband in New Year, so we'd gone up to help her sort a few personal things out. And my son, who's a bit of an IT geek, needed to unlock passwords and phones and iPads and computers and things like that. So I didn't watch the match. I logged on at 5:15. We were driving home in the car from York, ironically, seen all the York fans coming out of the stadium after they looked happy, so I presume they'd won, saw they'd won 6-2 in the end. But I switch off all notifications. I watched the game live, driving back. My wife was doing the driving back down the M1, and just got more and more and more depressed.
yeah, I mean, there's something we'll come to it afterwards. But Gabriel, what were your thoughts on the Truro game? It was a
Luckily, I
difficult one.
didn't get to see it
Okay.
myself either because I had some friends over at my house, and
You decided not to bring them this time. We can't blame them.
yeah. And but I was very disappointed, especially for the fact that we tried so hard to bring so many people there by making those cheap tickets and to have a sold out stadium and to eventually get some new fans out of that. And certainly they weren't too convinced by the game. And
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, there's lots of ways you could dress it up, but I wrote the word debacle. There were. I hadn't seen them before because I hadn't been possibly paying attention, but there was some vocal abuse, I'm going to say, or maybe not quite abuse, but some anger directed towards Aggie and some people calling for him to go because he's out of his depth, which is a bit bizarre because of the other results that we've had since. And I think since he's come in, we're probably. I did work this out the other day. I think since he's come in, we're probably if the league started when he came in, we'd be 10th or 10th or 11th or something like that. But we'll then go to Eastleigh, Gabriel. The roller coaster again took another climb up. How were you sort of feeling after the Eastleigh match?
well, I was following the score only. I didn't look at the game, but I saw that they got a red card in the very first minutes. I also saw on the highlights that probably, you don't have to tell when the referee makes a decision in your favor. You always should ignore it and pretend it never happened. But eight referees out of 10 probably would have used the alibi that the aggression happened in near the throw-in line. So it was not a direct opportunity to score because there were defenders in between. So probably 8 out of 10 wouldn't have given the red card there.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I think seeing it, I mean, I saw it from an angle that a referee wouldn't have seen that, though, and it did look quite aggressive and quite nasty, to be fair, and potentially from the way the ref saw it, it may have even looked even worse because I was looking at it from the opposite angle. But yeah, you're quite right. A lot of referees might have just kind of copped out and given the yellow card and the free kick there because they were covering defenders. But how were you feeling overall when we did get that victory?
Very important victory again. I'm looking at the other teams; they are losing, so I'm thinking, okay, we're almost over with the relegation battle after this evening. And I still think the same. I had the look in preparing for the podcast today. I had the look, and in 6 games, Braintree and Brackley, they just made 2 points. So I don't think they will reach even the 46 points that we already have.
Yeah, Neil, what about yourself? How were you feeling sort of after the Eastleigh game, watching it as well?
It looked like a game we were never going to lose. It was played at such a pedestrian pace. It was almost like I've seen faster games of walking football. And we just, because the tempo of the game was so poor, we lacked penetration. I thought we were going to struggle to score. I thought, it looked as if it was only going to be set plays that we would score from. And of course, Kai scores with his second Olympico of the season. So the fact that we'd got that, possibly the only way we were going to get another one is if Eastleigh started to throw the kitchen sink and leave gaps, and that's virtually what happened. There's sort of a lot more space opened up on the pitch. It's always difficult to play against 10 men because there was literally no space to play the ball into. Thought we managed the game very well and deservedly, which of course gave us 10 points out of 12 for 4 away games on the trot.
Yep.
Because that was the Hartlepool, Scunthorpe, Gateshead and Eastleigh. So, 10 out of 12 points is absolutely brilliant. If we hadn't got those 10 out of 12 points, we would actually be right in the relegation mire.
Trouble. That's the next thing I'm going to go on to. But I do love the fact that everyone seems to know now the scoring from a corner is called an Olympico, which I don't think anyone knew before. But
I didn't
Well,
know.
Aggie didn't know because
No, exactly.
Aaron said it in the interview, and Aggie goes, "Is it?"
Has anyone actually checked what Aaron said? Because Aaron could have just made that up. Who knows? Right. It was a roller coaster, and I'm not sure it is actually healthy for people to be like this, because every loss we've had has been an absolute disaster. It's the worst thing in the world. Then we win a game, and everyone's like, "Yeah, fantastic, that's it, we're amazing, blah blah blah," and then it goes on and on and on. And Neil kind of hinted at it with just the away games, but out of those 6 games, I'm ignoring Rochdale for the moment. The Hartlepool, Morecambe, Scunthorpe, Gateshead, Truro, and Eastleigh. I think if we'd looked at it and said, "Look, actually, we should get 8 points out of these games," because you'd expect the wins over Morecambe and Truro, and you'd hope for a draw with Gateshead and Eastleigh, maybe. And in fact, we got 10 out of it. I know those 2 home games didn't go anywhere near as planned, but we beat Scunthorpe and Hartlepool instead. So had it been those results opposite, people probably wouldn't have been so dramatic about the overall number of points that we got in that period. But I mean, looking at it as a whole, Gabriel, does it seem that's a fair return on those games? Or
Overall, yeah, sure, it's a great return, but you can understand also the people, because we have 2,400, 500 people at the home games and 100 at the away games.
yeah,
So the most of them only see the home games, and the teams look really bad, especially not yesterday,
no.
but before that.
Yeah, very fair point on that. Neil, what do you think of the overall points haul? Is it fair to go, well, actually, we've got 10 points from those games?
I'm not so sure.
Okay.
We've played. It's very frustrating. You look back, pretty well. We were outclassed Truro and Morecambe, and we shouldn't have been. In all the other matches, we potentially could and should have won all of them. It's playoff, potentially since the beginning of February. That's pretty well playoff form, and that's really what we've got the potential to aspire to. Since the Boston game, when we were abominable, we have been pretty good. We shouldn't have lost the Yeovil game. We should never lose to Morecambe and Truro in terms of just raw ability.
Yeah.
And all the other games, well, we all know, and then we come to yesterday, which put the whole thing into context as potentially how good we are.
Yeah. Well, just before we get on to yesterday, Aggie said something in the pre-match before Truro, I think it was, and he said in his 12 years managing coaching, he's never had a team that's anywhere near as sort of unpredictable as we are, with the ups and downs. And I then got to thinking that actually it's prior to our relegation season, we'd had 12 years of nothing but success. So a lot of our supporters have grown up on nothing but us winning, going up. And now this has come as a bit of a bolt for them. But yeah, apparently he'd never lost more than 2 games in a row. Or no, in fact, it might have been not 2 games in a row. He's never lost 2 in a row before coming to Sutton, which is interesting. But Neil, not much to talk about for you yesterday. It's a bit of a dull match. Before the game, though, we had 3 new inductees to the Hall of Fame. I know some things aren't always clear when we're in the stadium, but we had Jimmy Dack for obviously his playing and coaching and academy. We had Kat Chambers for all she's done the physio side. I mean, 16 years she's been with us, which makes me feel incredibly old. And we had Tony Dolbear as well. I love the fact that when we do our Hall of Fames, it's not just about on the pitch. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes as well. What did you think of those Hall of Fame inductees, Neil? Did you even know what was happening?
Oh, I did know what was happening. I was very surprised about Tony because I thought he would have been in there already.
I think Tony was on the original panel, so I don't think he would have allowed it. If that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I think he would have went, no, we'll move other people on.
Secondly, very deserved for Kat, but I was gobsmacked. I didn't realise that she'd been associated with the club for so long.
It's mad. And she only looks like a 12-year-old anyway.
Yeah, she still looks as if she has only just left school. So that was that. And Jimmy Dack, because, a great player, but also what he's done for, making the academy so strong. That can't be, that really can't be understated how important that has been and will be for us. So I thought that was very deserved. And it's the first time I've actually known all of the 3 inductees as well.
And importantly, if Jimmy Dack hadn't turned down the job of manager of Sutton United, we would never have employed Paul Doswell, and so on and so on and so on. See, so Jimmy was the catalyst to all of this by saying no. Gabriel, did you know that was going on? I mean, you were obviously in the ticket booth at that point.
No. I even been a bit late to my position because I had my son having a chess tournament in Epsom in the morning, and in Epsom they have roadblocks at both ends of the city, roadworks, and traffic was horrible. So I arrived 15 minutes late. I ran to get my turnstile scanner and went to the scanners and stayed there up to the end of the first half, actually.
Oh, okay. Right. So you're not going to be able to have a lot in the first half then, so we'll come back to you in a second. Have you watched it back or not?
Not the full half. I watched the highlights, and I watched a bit because after 10-15 minutes, nothing is happening at the gate anymore. Yeah. Only 3-4 people are coming after that.
What did you think of the first half? I mean, we went into this we haven't done the lineup for expectations. You can tell me what you thought of the first half and what your expectations were prior to the match.
I was hoping for a surprise. They had some good results, and you cannot lose all the games at home. Mm-hmm. So I was hopeful, even though they're the leaders and they're under pressure to win the games because there's this duel that they have with York City.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel on the bit of the first half you did get to watch?
They didn't create much. They only had that chance when they intercepted a ball at the edge of our area. Mm-hmm. Of course, there was this issue that Kay and Foyo just left when they were playing at their best. So Yeah, but the team looked good, and we blocked them very well, and we created some chances. Also, because of the angle, I was at the main gate from Gander Green Lane. I couldn't understand if Njoku was offside at that moment somewhere at the middle of the first half.
All right.
So, but I haven't seen that
Yeah, no,
moment
I
anywhere.
think I remember, and I think he was.
He was okay.
I think so. I think a lot of people put their hands up, and I'm sitting there going, I'm not sure. I think he probably was. But actually, thank you for raising the point about Kai and Foyo, because I did mean to mention that. Kai was fantastic for us, and Foyo, I mean, he scored some goals.
He was just starting to play his best, I think.
I mean, I understand it from Wimbledon's point of view, because it's their players. They're basically safe, so they might want to have a look at them for next year, and they've got some injury things. But it seems that Wimbledon wanted them back at the weekend, and we asked could we keep them till Tuesday night to play against Eastleigh, and they said yeah. So Wimbledon did us a favour. Even though they've called them back, they did us a big favour. So Neil, that's 3 things for you to run through. What were you expecting before the game? A little word on Kai and Foyo, and how you sort of felt we did in that first half.
Okay, so Kai and Foyo, lot of potential, but always seemed to pass when he should shoot, and then shoot when he should pass. But that's immaturity. He will get better. He's a presence, and he's got terrific work rate. So I think he's got a future in the game. Kai Jennings, I would go as far as to say he's probably the best loanee that we've had. He's better than Finlay, and we thought that we'd never have a loanee that was better than Finlay.
Fair.
10 goals says it all. So I think Kai is going to he's really going to shine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is a great player. In terms of the lineup, I got 10 out of 11. I'd had Radari starting and not Ogbonna.
Okay.
Got all the subs right, so I was correct in that respect. So I was feeling very pleased with myself about that. I thought the pressure was beginning to get to both Rochdale and York. So I thought possibly we were going to be a banana skin. So I was cautiously optimistic, but put on my prediction league, we only ever seem to win when I predict us to lose. So therefore I predicted us to lose.
Right.
Even though I sort of felt that we would get something out of the game.
That's your story, is it?
Yeah. And then, as I said to you at halftime, apart from the little wobble at 38 minutes, that was probably the best 45 minutes that we played. Probably even, better than against Shrewsbury. The passing, the football, we made Rochdale look really ordinary. We outpossessed one of the highest possessing statistics-wise teams in the division. They just couldn't get the ball. And Brandon and David Bonner just literally ran their socks up, and they really were they pestered. They made Rochdale very uncomfortable at the back. They don't have the height, but it just shows you don't necessarily need height to be an absolute nuisance.
No, absolutely. I mean, you actually told me at halftime if a neutral was watching this game, they would struggle to tell you which team was top of the league and which team was struggling.
I think I said they would definitely think that we were the team at the top of the league and the other was struggling. Yeah, it was a brilliant half. So
yeah, well, I mean, second half we kind of carried on. I think Dino said himself, it's like they came over and their keeper got injured. Obviously, they had to have a little chat midway through the first half, and they changed everything. And he said, I don't think they've changed how they play for anyone this season, which is obviously a big sort of kudos to us. But I missed Charlie's goal because I was like, right, there's not a lot happening here. I'm going to go out and check the 50-50, see if I won any money. But Neil, about 15 minutes to go-ish. Charlie,
10 to go, wasn't it? 80 minutes?
Yes,
78, I think.
78.
Yeah.
Talk us through his goal from your view, and what were you
passed out from the back. Brandon had got the ball on the stand. I think it was on the stand side. Yes, on the stand side. Had three of their players around him. He managed to fall over, still retain the ball, broke away from them all, still with the ball, which is unusual because normally he loses the ball when he's got three players around him. And great interplay. And then Charlie hit the most sublime shot. The keeper, if the keeper had notice of where it was going, there was no way he could get to it. It was the perfect shot. And I thought that was a fantastic goal, deserving of winning any game.
Yeah, there is an apology to Charlie because literally, I think about 4 minutes before that, I said he's about to get booked because something had happened. I saw him being angry, and I was like, he's about to get booked. And the last time I did that with a player was Nicky Bailey years and years ago, and I was like, he's about to get booked. And then he scored a screamer about 30 seconds later as well. So I might try that more often, saying players are about to get booked because they'll score. But Gabriel, how was your view of Charlie's goal?
It's worth mentioning that just before their goal, Rochdale has had a goal that was cancelled because disallowed, because of offside. Just before that, so the build-up of the goal of Charlie Bell started from our goal with the free kick awarded for that. Amazing goal, amazing shot. We all jumped up in the stands, up of joy. I wonder, though, one thing, because just before the goal, Rochdale looked happy with the 0-0 score. They looked to be the ones who. So I wonder if the goal that didn't happen, if we were going to have a 0-0, a peaceful 0-0, and with both teams happy, rather than this dramatic ending.
Dramatic ending? What do you mean? Okay, you've alluded to it. 90th minute, 89th, 90th minute. They scored an equaliser. Another great goal. How were you feeling at this point, Gabriel, when they'd equalised right at the death?
I don't want to sound like a criticist, but a few minutes before, the coach has taken out Simper and Ogbonna. Mm-hmm. And when I look at that moment, I'm thinking Jack Taylor is already out, and I'm thinking, okay, who's going to hold the ball for us anymore?
Yep.
Yeah, because there's 5 minutes left, and I totally understand that the players are very tired because we have a very limited squad, and they played, with the exception of the week between Gateshead and Truro, I think. They played twice a week every time, for a long now. And I understand, but maybe you should have left at least one of them to represent a threat. I think Rochdale noticed where the threat is. The threat was between Simper and Ogbonna. That's where all our attacks were going. So when we took them out, they felt that they can go out attack without caring anymore.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. So at the equaliser, were you fearful we could go on and lose, or were you thinking, okay, we've got a draw?
At first, I thought we will try to win. It looked like we would try to win, but we didn't have the resources. Rudari was fighting. I'm not criticizing him, but he's fighting. He's more of an aerial player rather than a ball holder, as I said. So besides Harris, I didn't see anyone to carry our ball and to create some danger. Yeah. So we basically started to drop deeper and deeper, and sometimes football punishes you for that.
Absolutely. So Neil, how were you feeling at the equaliser? Were you of a similar opinion that the substitutes had possibly taken something out of our stride?
I think Simps had to come off because he'd been booked, and then he'd had another niggle. I think we were worried that essentially he was going to get a second yellow card. So that might have been to protect him from that. Yep. And poor David Ogbonna, I think he was just basically out on his legs because he had literally run himself into the ground. So I can see why it was done. It's always very easy with hindsight to criticise any substitutions, and it shouldn't have made a difference because in effect, the way we'd slightly changed our formation anyway, it was almost a like for like, because we'd gone into a more, we'd gone back to having a back four,
Yep.
drop to forward back, and then putting the extra players into midfield to basically take the space away from Rochdale. So most times it would have worked. I don't think.
Yeah, I see. I do genuinely see both sides of it. Where Gabriel's saying that actually the people that were the threats that they were worried about and putting players on suddenly weren't there anymore. So they were like, well, actually, if these guys aren't good enough to start, are we going to be worried about them? But I can see how it also buoyed them as well. And also, as you said, Neil, shouldn't have made that much of a difference, because if you're coming on, you should be ready, tight, and ready to stop everything.
I think also Rochdale had got news, therefore, that Woking had got York had got a penalty and taken the lead. So I think they were no longer happy with the point. So they did literally have to throw.
And I think that came at a very similar time to the announcement of the 5 added, which kind of buoyed them quite a lot as well. We've had it to ourselves when you're chasing the game and you get this 7 minutes or whatever minutes added, you think, yes, come on, we can do this. It does lift the players a little bit. How do you feel about the added to the added until they scored? We keep playing until they scored, Camp, or that was minimum time, it's down to us to defend this?
Are you asking me?
Yes, Neil, you.
I can't see why the added. I know this is, it's confirmation bias that I think the whole world's against us, but I genuinely couldn't see any justification for adding the added time on. If there was any, it was the referee being very good about insisting that throws were taken from the right place, which he was consistent throughout the match, which was really very good. And that was really good. It was played there. But you don't add time on for the time it takes to take a throw in. So therefore, in effect, the referee was eating up his own time by Rochdale not taking it from the right place. So I don't think there was any justification for adding that time on. And I had predicted once they equalised, I said, we're going to do a Yeovil here. And sadly we did, because this is the second time that we've blown a lead going into, the last added time.
Yeah. And Gabriel, what were your thoughts on the buoying of the 5 added minutes and then them scoring in the 5?
No, I'm not going to defend the referee in any way. I was very pissed off. If you look at the highlights, there's this throw in, and probably you can see me waving like this to the referee, come on, stop. And I was very agitated at that moment. But I saw him, maybe 1 minute in the extension time, I saw him pointing at the watch because we were delaying some... Sims was delaying the throwing the ball back in the game. Yeah. So, but I don't feel that he should have added one minute. All we needed was to send the ball away. It's that moment of the throw in which he looks like actually pushing the guy to take a long throw. He was willing to take a short throw near him, to one of his teammates, and the referee stops him, pushes him to go a few meters more to the end of the pitch, and keeping him like this makes him think that he needs to take a long throw.
Yep.
Unlucky. We from that long throw, somebody, probably Junior, hits the ball with the header to Eze. Eze tries to run with the ball, but loses it, and he doesn't take it too far away. We don't have time enough for the referee to end the game. You need to take the ball away, because in his mind is, I will let a last attack.
Yeah.
It even happens at PlayStation. If you don't send the ball away in Football Manager, they don't stop the game. If they are attacking, they will leave the game going until the attack ends.
So it's almost, again, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Instead of trying to carry the ball forward, should have just launched it.
Yeah.
I was so excited, I threw my headphones off.
Yeah.
I should have launched it forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do the nice bit first. We've basically come away from a match with the league leaders, the very likely champions, with massive disappointment that we didn't get something or win the game. How important is that, Gabriel, for the last 5 games of the season to say, well, actually, we know what we can do? Is this the bar that we have to set now, and will there be no excuses going forward?
Yeah, I actually came from the game excited, and I'm thinking I look forward to next season if we have the same coach. It's a different game. The team of last year I didn't like watching. Now I do like watching the games. Depends a lot, of course, if we get to keep the good players from this year.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't like to lose Simper, first of all. We already lost Jennings.
Yeah.
It doesn't make much of a difference if we finish 12 or 17. The relegation is almost avoided.
Yeah. I'd say, I'll be honest, I'm fairly blasé about it the whole season. Didn't think we ever were going to be, but it's easy to say. But I do think as you say, even if we didn't pick up another point, I don't think the others are going to pick up 8 points on us. Neil, how do you feel it? What message do you think it is that we've come away from that game gutted that we didn't beat the league leaders and probable champions?
I went away probably the angriest I think I've ever walked away from a football match. Angrier than losing 5-0 at home to Morecambe, which is ridiculous, isn't it? It's, the sense of injustice, and had quite a bit of banter with some of the Rochdale fans who were leaving, but there were some really nice guys that were trying to find the Robin Hood pub. But as they sort of said, they all of them just said, unlucky. They said, we thought we were going to get nothing from that game. You basically outplayed us for 90 minutes. We were very lucky, but we've been all season finding a way to win, he said. And then they had to say, what a beautiful pitch, and you played beautiful football. They were saying, that was. They were lovely, and the pitch, for the end of the season, it does look superb. So they were crowing about the pitch and how well we played, and they were just saying, "How the hell are you down at the bottom of the league?"
There was a comment the other day on the forum, and I don't remember who said it, but it did make me laugh. I wasn't in the right place to argue it, but they were, it's a terrible time for us to get into a run of bad form, and I'm like, our results have been like this. What form are you talking about? Because we've been good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. So, but yeah, it's a difficult one. You kind of can't criticise the players because you've got to be proud of that performance. If anything, you kind of go, where's it been? Where's that performance been? Why have we not been able to do that before? But the other talking point,
before we get to that, Mike, could I say that I think it showed me that we need 4 or 5 experienced players, 4 or 5 experienced players adding to that lot, and that's a top 5 side for next season. I don't have any doubt.
Fair enough. Gabriel?
That we will be at the other, we'll be 5, within 5 of the top rather than within 5 of the bottom.
Gabriel?
We're missing that one ingredient.
Yeah. Do you agree, or?
Yeah, definitely in defense. We need an experienced player to coordinate better the team. We're making some errors that are costing us a lot.
Yeah. Right. So, Gabriel, I'll ask your view of the scenes at the end of the game. There were 2 in particular. What did you feel? I think we've got Aggie getting a second yellow, a red, and I think well, not I think. Hayden was also. I'm not sure if that was the second yellow or a straight red.
What's the second yellow?
Yeah. So both second yellows and reds. But what did you feel about that? Do you feel it shows passion? Do you feel it shows ill discipline, or something in between?
I haven't watched the scenes after the goal. I just left.
Oh, okay.
But I saw them on your group, podcast group, there afterwards, that Twitter post. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing that we get into this kind of fights because they will cost us in terms of penalties, in terms of suspensions. We had a very bad discipline record, so probably it will they will hold it against us, and it will be harsher punished.
Yeah.
You can understand again.
Yeah.
You can understand as you can understand the replacing Ogbonna and Simper. You can totally understand their reaction after a game that they fought. They deserved much more. Definitely, they deserved. If not to win, at least the draw would have been a fair result. In no circumstances, Rochdale deserved the win.
Yeah, I think some of the Rochdale players were goading some of the Sutton players, and that's kind of started it. And I think a separate incident was Aggie trying to talk to the referee, and the referee backing off, and Aggie kind of going, "Well, hang on a second," and then the ref going, "Whoa!" So it doesn't look great, but I'm like, I don't think it's anywhere near what it looks like. But Neil, have you watched it at all, or what did you think of it at the time?
Well, it all goes back to what started around about when their goalkeeper had cramp on 23 minutes.
Yeah.
With the water bottle, they
Yes.
spat some water over us or squirted their bottles at us. So that started the a bit of bad feeling between the teams. It wasn't a dirty match. There were no sort of dirty. There were very few sort of really bad fouls in the whole match.
Yep.
It was a very clean match. The other thing which really goading was when the entire Rochdale bench and all the subs invaded the pitch and ran across the pitch, which that isn't allowed. In theory, if any of their officials leave the technical area, that's automatically a yellow card. So they should all be on yellow cards. But to think about all the running onto the pitch, I think that is, and that because they literally ran through our players to get over to their fans. So that basically incensed us. Then, of course, there was that sort of sense of injustice. There would have been the huge young players so deflated that we've run ourselves into the ground and we've got nothing to show for it. So they were feeling really sorry for themselves. However, I don't think there is any substitution for what happened. I'm afraid Hayden, I think he's probably going to get more than 3 matches because it was premeditated. He ran onto the pitch afterwards and looks as if he's punched that guy. So I suspect Hayden will get a big fine and probably 4 matches, or he might get 3 with, with a couple of, suspended. But he is going to get one hell of a bat, which again we don't need.
Absolutely, and I did want
to. And I think he's silly, and I think and he deserves. And I think also actually the club need to fine him because it's silly. He needs to learn from that. Junior needs to learn. Basically, too many of the players need to learn to shut up. They need to learn to walk away. The mature thing is never. It's easy to say, but it's never to get embroiled in a fight or a controversy. You need to take the moral high ground and walk away and have and have the better attitude. Because in the end, you'll gain from it, and we won't get suspensions and things like that.
We've lost Gabriel. He might come back. I'm not sure. I also was thinking if Aggie wants to watch the game from the stands, which I know he enjoyed last time. That was Woking, I think. He can do that. He doesn't need to get a red card to do that. He can just come up and watch it in the stand. It's absolutely fine. He's back. So, mathematically, it hearts me to say this, but the playoffs are gone. That's it. We can't make the playoffs. We absolutely can't make the playoffs. But we are only 2 points off 12th. is then a bit of a gap. Neil, we'll start with you. Would 12th be a good finish? If we could get up to 12th, same as last year on the whole season, would you say 12th is actually a good top half finish?
12th this year is better than 12th last year.
Okay. Would you agree, Gabriel? Would you say that if we could get to 12th, that's a great season?
I think Neil put it great. Yeah, 12 means much more. Remember that we were last for the whole start of the season. So 12 would be a great finish to me.
Yeah. Now, I know there are some people still now looking back over our shoulder. I know we've kind of said it's unlikely. We're 8 points above relegation. If those people want to look at those 8 points behind relegation, they've got to then look and go, well, actually, we're only 8 points off 12th. 10th. So we've got about as much chance of being relegated as we have of getting into top 10. How do you feel about that? Do you think if we could get above 12th, it would be an amazing season, really? It would be improvement from last year, but I think it's unlikely. I think the gap is a bit too much now. But very quickly, let's just fly through the next couple of games, some predictions, early predictions. I don't know if either of you saw it. I have finally caught up on the prediction league and sorted out the table. It was about 11 games behind, I think it was. But I finally sorted that out, and I've even updated the players, even though Fayo has been and gone since I last updated the players. But I've done that, so we're all back to normal now. But Neil, briefly, talk us through what you think is going to happen against Aldershot, which is looking like a very big game. They're a game behind us, and is it 1 point behind us, 2 points behind us?
Yeah.
So that's looking like a very big game at their place, and then Southend at our place. Southend still have those hopes of the playoff, and in fact could secure it, I think, if they win the next two. But how are you feeling about those next two games?
So Aldershot has never been a particularly happy hunting ground for us, from what I recall. So I'd hope we'd get something from the match, but again, it's the psychological effect of, I think the psychological effect of losing to Rochdale and everything that's gone on is going to be more of a psychological handicap than losing to Morecambe or Truro in a perverse sort of way.
Do you?
Yeah.
I would hope that they would be buoyed by that.
No, I think they're going to be feeling very sort of flat and and all that sort of thing. Probably more likely to beat Southend because they're the better team, and I hope we can't lose 4 home matches on the trot. That's what we did last season.
Yeah. Gabriel, what do you think about the next 2 games coming up?
It's hard to anticipate. If you look at the away form, we might be winning. On the other hand, I'm on the same opinion with Neil and with what he says, that it's more likely to finally win a game at home, because you cannot keep losing and losing. They're not that bad.
Okay. Well, I spoke very briefly about the Prediction League. There's going to be possibly something new next season, which is going to be a lot less work for me to do, because a company's contacted me with a football fantasy type thing, but apparently you can have it as just your own club, not Premier League and stuff. So I'm talking to them this week, and hopefully I'm going to get something organised that I don't have to do an awful lot on, and we might be able to test that in the World Cup. But gents, thank you very, very much. We're going to wrap up this episode of Sutton Podcast. As always, we appreciate everyone's attention and feedback. Follow, like, share this episode, give us a thumbs up on YouTube and all the other channels. And as always, thank you to our sponsors, Lucky Star Gin. Thank you to everyone for listening, and hope you've enjoyed this episode of Something Podcast. And guys, thanks for getting me through 6 matches. I'm not going to let it go that long again, because that was mad. Take care, everyone, and we'll catch up soon. Bye-bye. United! 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 United!